Much better looking day for risk assets here. Green pretty much everywhere, including bonds, including Bitcoin, including stocks, and some of the key AI players that kind of drifted a little bit sideways over the last few weeks. You got Tom here with me in the studio, and Adam Lampe joins us from Mint Wealth Management, co-founder and CEO. So Adam, are we still in the melt-up phase? We just took a breather for a couple weeks, or what?
Oh, we're certainly in the early stages of the gold rush for AI, as far as I'm concerned. I look at NVIDIA as kind of the godfather of the stocks. I mean, the fact of the matter is they've invested in dozens of companies, startup companies in AI. The golden ticket these days is you have to partner up with NVIDIA. And I think that's really something that we should all watch out for. It reminds me of a conversation I had over a year ago with a Deloitte partner, and he told me, AI is going to change the world. And boy, was he right. AI in the last 3 years is up almost 700%. And I think, conservative estimates show it about 24% in the next annualized for the next 6 to 7 years. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
As you mentioned, NVIDIA's investments into other companies and their venture arm as well. A few folks have expressed the concern that if they're investing into early stage companies with their own money, and then those companies are using NVIDIA's hardware to power what they're doing, that we might be creating a price-insensitive demand for NVIDIA chips. Do you feel any concern that that could be the case?
I like to look at the broad picture, and the broad picture is, the largest, investment companies out there like JP Morgan are saying that, AI could increase GDP by 10%. That's remarkable. I think it's a huge opportunity. I mean, if you look at, rising rates right now, or potential of rising rates, or I'm sorry, the potential of falling rates, you know, you have to look at high dividend stocks, and they typically have outperformed. But I think with AI coming into play, I think it might be one of the few times since 1956 that other areas of the market will outperform in a declining market, interest rate market environment.
Interesting. So you think they might be able to win out as kind of a growth trade that beats all else?
Yeah, I mean, I think AI is here to stay. A lot of companies with inflation, coming down and trending in the right direction. I think there's a lot of potential for reduced cost in the labor market and helping inflation. The conversation that I had with Deloitte over a year ago, gosh, it really resonates today. And I think with the projections that I'm looking at, and a lot of the big firms out there saying, "Hey, this is where the real growth is." I'm excited now. Are there going to be headwinds out there? It is an election year, and we know, in recent times, 82% of the time, the market is positive. But I think the real opportunity is in this AI sector.
AI still has a lot of room to grow, and so does Nvidia, the company that dominates the massive AI chips market. In fact, NVIDIA's data center business, which includes the company's H100 chips that are widely used to power generative AI apps like ChatGPT, has been growing at an astounding rate, and in the most recent fiscal year, NVIDIA's data center revenue skyrocketed a whopping 217% to $47.5 billion. If you're an NVIDIA investor, then you might be happy to know that this is just the beginning for the company. According to analyst Vijay Rakesh of Japanese investment bank Mizuho, this segment's astonishing growth is set to continue at an even more astonishing pace. And that's not everything, because he predicts that the company will reach a $4.4 billion market cap in just 3 years. And since NVIDIA's current market cap is around $2.2 trillion, he's basically saying that the company will double its market cap by 2027. So, why does he think so? Let's find out. But before we do that, if you want to keep up with NVIDIA's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Now, back to today's video.
Time for FOMO, and look no further than the stock that maybe defines the term, Nvidia. You know, Jenny, Oliver Rennick, our own Oliver Rennick, tweeted something kind of tongue-in-cheek about like importance of things to the market right now. Number one on his list was NVIDIA, and it's hard to disagree with that. You tend to be able to look at where NVIDIA is and have a pretty good idea day to day how the market's doing. For context of that, last 30 trading days, S&P correlation to NVIDIA is 0.79, so it's still in that strong territory. It has come down. I saw it as high as 0.94 a week ago, which is, I mean, essentially a line at that point.
Almost a perfect ratio, yeah.
So it has come down a little bit, but anything above 0.7 would be considered strongly correlated.
Yeah, and I was making the same argument. I was talking about this job numbers with Tom today on the Future Show, and I was like, hey, I know the jobs number is important, but what's NVIDIA doing? Because it's like our running joke now of like, NVIDIA has become the new Apple, and I even think more so in the sense that like the market...
Way more volatile than Apple.
It is way more volatile than Apple, and hey, making a nice move to the upside today. We're up 2.6%, but still facing to close out a losing week, which feels relatively unusual for NVIDIA. And I feel like some of the unraveling started when we saw the market tank yesterday, especially in the back half of the session. NVIDIA was lower, but then also in the same regard, NVIDIA does still have a degree of resiliency. We did see that earthquake that it affected Taiwan several days ago in the ways that a lot of these names, like Taiwan Semi, of course, and then some of the other chip makers were somewhat reeling on the news and how it could impact the supply chain. And NVIDIA, go figure, was still ripping. So it's like they are able to somewhat shake off it seems like it's a headwind that's specific to the chip sector quite well. I know we're losing this week. I actually think this pullback has appeared relatively healthy because you cannot have a name that just goes up every single day. It felt like, okay, I'm starting to buy into the bubble narrative because I don't think that this stock is necessarily never going to go down, you know?
As of the time of this video, Nvidia stock is trading at around $880, and while this is an impressive 83% gain year to date, it's a decrease of around 7% from the $950 it reached in March. But this dip could be a great buying opportunity, according to analysts who are still bullish on the stock, and one of them is Mizuho's Vijay Rakesh. According to Rakesh, NVIDIA's data center revenue in the current fiscal year could jump 87% to about $89 billion. Not only that, but he also predicts that data center revenue could jump to $280 billion by 2027, which will coincide with the company's fiscal 2028. This means that NVIDIA's data center revenue could increase at an annual rate of 56% over the next 4 years. But is that really possible? There's a really good chance NVIDIA could achieve this, and we're going to tell you exactly why now. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy. Rakesh believes that NVIDIA's future growth will be driven by the company ramping up the production of its new chips, the H200, B100, and B200 AI chips, which are expected to launch later in 2024 and 2025. This isn't just wishful thinking, because many customers are already lined up for NVIDIA's new products. For instance, the H200, which will be available in Q2 of this year, already received orders from companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Oracle. NVIDIA said that these companies are expected to launch cloud instances powered by the H200 chips later this year, but that's not all, because many cloud computing giants have also expressed interest in NVIDIA's next-generation Blackwell AI chips. NVIDIA says that its next-gen Blackwell chips will deliver mind-blowing performance improvements, which will allow organizations to build and run real-time generative AI on trillion-parameter large language models while using 25x less cost and energy consumption than their predecessors. The Blackwell products should be available later this year, and they also have big names lining up for them. NVIDIA says that it expects companies like Amazon Web Services, Dell, Google, and Meta to adopt this new platform. In addition to these companies, Oracle and Microsoft will join in, and NVIDIA even expects Tesla and xAI to start adopting the Blackwell platform as well. We've already covered that Microsoft and OpenAI are looking to spend a staggering $100 billion on building an AI data center project in a previous video, and talked about how this could greatly benefit NVIDIA, so you can watch that video if you haven't already. But what you should know is that demand for NVIDIA's data center products is still there and will definitely increase over time. Now, you might be wondering, can NVIDIA even make enough of these AI chips to meet the insane demand? This is a great question to ask, especially since many people in the tech industry, including Tesla's CEO Elon Musk, have said before that acquiring NVIDIA's chips is extremely hard, thanks to the really high demand. But the company has a solution to this problem, as it's been working overtime with manufacturing partner TSMC to significantly ramp up production capacity. For example, wait times for NVIDIA's current H100 chip have already dropped from 8 to 11 months down to just 3 to 4 months. And get this, TSMC is aiming to double its advanced chip packaging output this year, with even more expansion planned for 2025. So it looks like the supply of NVIDIA's next-gen chips will continue improving to keep up with the explosive demand. That way, NVIDIA could actually reach the $280 billion data center revenue in 2027. Rakesh also said that he expects the overall AI data center market to generate $400 billion in revenue by that year, which means that NVIDIA would control 70% of the market. It's important to note that Mizuho increased its NVIDIA stock price target back in March to $1,000 from $850 and currently has a buy rating on the stock. Since NVIDIA is currently trading at $880, this is an impressive upside of 13.6%, meaning that the investment bank is extremely bullish on the company. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Ultimately, it's interesting to me when we look at AI and how much it can do and the potential it can do. I think it's just going to make us all more efficient. I mean, it's remarkable. In the last 3 years, it's gone up 700%. I mean, we're looking at an industry that could be $1.8 trillion, and that's remarkable. When right now we're at the early stages.
All right, Adam, thanks for the thoughts. Appreciate the setup here.
Thank you.
So what I will say is I think that there's some truth to some healthy selling, and I think that it can change depending on where the selling stops. Now, you know me well. I am not Rick Ducat. I'm not Ben Lichtenstein. I'm not going to pull the charts up and start walking you through some different lines on the charts. But in a name like NVIDIA, where certainly the fundamental picture has been strong, that's been sort of like reason and permission to want to be involved in this stock, this has been as technically driven of a rally as I've seen as well. There's been this FOMO feeling with it. And with those circumstances being involved with it, it's really important that it continues to trend higher. And what is a trend? It means, higher lows, higher highs. Now, it didn't get the higher high. It got close, but it also didn't get the higher, or it didn't get the lower low. So when you look at that, this 840-ish to 850-ish range was critical for NVIDIA to weather that. Now, I don't know that this move is over. No new high was made, but we're now a comfortable $30, $40 off of that level. That's, almost 5% for a name that, it moves a lot. It's up $22 today. It's 2.6%. But that's some cushion now going into the weekend where if we would have been kind of where we were yesterday to close, I think there'd be some nervousness going into the weekend come Sunday when futures open, and then Monday, of course, when we ring the market bell at 8:30 Central to begin the week.
And I have to think that NVIDIA, which is lower this week, it had to react to the biggest bottleneck right now in the supply chain is NVIDIA, and most of the other AI businesses get all of their, they're heavily reliant on Taiwan Semiconductor for manufacturing. There just aren't currently other options. Granted, there's other options in development, but there aren't other options. So the industry's reliance on Taiwan, we see it provides more than $50 billion right now, which is from the CHIPS Act to fund a lot of the manufacturing R&D and the development of these U.S. chips, but that payoff is still years off. So right now, the situation is that NVIDIA and a lot of these companies do still very much rely on Taiwan. So in the process, you have to think that with it relying on a company that just was faced with a major natural disaster, things should, fall a bit. I think that says, again, like reacting to news that could actually matter to NVIDIA. It's not just about their massive data center growth. It can't be.
Analysts think that NVIDIA stock is currently down thanks to investors taking profits, but the company is exerting a lot of efforts to bring its stock back up again. It was recently reported that NVIDIA will partner up with Indosat, a telecommunication provider in Indonesia, to build a $200 million AI data center in the country, which will help foster the development of technology infrastructure in Indonesia. In a previous video, we talked about a recent Oppenheimer note that said demand for AI in Asia will jump over 40% this year, and how that plays right into NVIDIA's strengths. So maybe this Indonesian data center partnership is the beginning of this, and Asia will add so much more to NVIDIA's data center revenues over the next few months. Now, NVIDIA's data center business grabs all the headlines. But we can't forget the company also has thriving gaming, auto, and visualization divisions. Last year, these other segments brought in $13 billion in revenue, but even if we assume zero growth in these segments going forward, just steadying out at $13 billion per year, NVIDIA could still hit around $293 billion in total revenue by 2027 based on Mizuho's data center projections. The stock is currently trading at 37x sales, a premium to its 5-year average sales multiple of 18, thanks to the phenomenal growth it has delivered in the past year. But here's the thing. Even if NVIDIA drops to 15x sales in 4 years, its market cap would increase to $4.4 trillion based on Mizuho's revenue outlook for the company. And realistically speaking, I don't see NVIDIA's other businesses stagnating at all. The gaming and automotive industries are embracing AI more and more each year, opening up new opportunities. The company is also investing heavily in other industries like healthcare, so chances are NVIDIA blows past the projections and delivers even more upside. When you take a step back and look at the big picture, NVIDIA's dominance in data centers makes it one of the most promising AI stocks for the long term. Even after its incredible run over the past year, NVIDIA still seems poised to beat the market in the years ahead. For investors who can handle the current volatility, NVIDIA could remain a top tech stock to buy and hold for the AI revolution playing out. What do you think about NVIDIA stock? Is it a buy at the current price? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And don't forget to tell us what your valuation for NVIDIA is. If you would like to know what companies like Tesla and NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.